those students have shared field trips that we've gone on. They've gone on with other kids who are not in the building. My screen just went away. There we go. Uh, you can share, like we have contests, we can share as it's go as that's actually happening. And because you can access it from mobile devices, it's a really great tool, because whether you're a student or a teacher, if you have a phone, you can be reporting out or taking pictures and sharing what's happening right at that moment from wherever you are. So it could be that they're outside doing an activity, they can share that, and if you're following them during the day, you can see what they did. um, and they're very short messages. It's only 140 characters, and a character is either a number, a letter, or a space. That all counts. So it's very short messages, and included in that, you can upload photos. So if you look on our website, you can see that. You can see a lot of tweets where there's photos attached as well, which is a pretty popular thing to do.
And again, we talked a little bit about how we use Twitter. We communicate with student staff in the community. We share ideas, links, projects, videos, professional development. We use it for professional development for teachers. Reminders like sports updates, for field trips, what's going on in field trips, and what Abby just talked about being real time here. Could, and then on the next page, you'll see some examples of how we use tweets here at Wamogo. This is a brand new teacher. So she talks about her class, her sophomore biology class, the E3 class, working hard, and she puts a picture in of the kids working hard on what they're doing, and she writes a little hashtag collaborate to share with what people are doing. Um, Here, I was saying yesterday, is anyone going to the game? And I sent it out to all the teachers in Region 6 and families that they follow the hashtag. That's kind of what the hashtag does. Helps you kind of either identify a topic or identify a group of people.
So
Um,
the hashtag is who it gets sent to, or that's who follows it, or what is?
that can be a little bit confusing, but it's generally like, let's say we have sent something to hashtag RSD6, and I want to follow that uh, hashtag. All the tweets that come up for RSD6 would come to that hashtag. You
So
understand?
anytime you put that onto a tweet, if someone's following that, they'll get it. And when that starts to impact people is when you are following people all over the world that use a similar hashtag. So RSD6 is very local, but there are other hashtags you can follow. Like there's one called hashtag EdChat, and that is educators who are interested in communicating with each other. So if you follow that hashtag, you potentially are connected to thousands of people. And when you send a message and you end it in, say, hashtag EdChat, that could be pushed out to thousands of people. So you may get a chance to be collaborating with people who are from all over the world when you do that.
Yeah. And there's different types of tweets that we have here. I retweeted. I'm actually, besides being me, I'm W Principal. I'm also Wamogo High School, so I tweet a lot. If people send it to Wamogo Regional High School, I'll retweet it and put it on the web page. But nothing goes up without my approval. So here I said I retweeted Abby saying big teacher website competition here at Wamogo. We've since changed our website, and all the teachers had to redo their websites. So we're giving a little competition to see who's going to have the best website. So that's one thing she retweeted kind of out to the staff here. We have a new teacher, Mackenzie McLeod's a PE teacher, and they're part of a group of teachers here that joined a team for breast cancer awareness, doing a walk, and she's throwing that out there. Um, and Deb Foley is a social worker, and she's thanking the peer leaders for coming to the group meetings from yesterday. So there's a whole variety of reasons to use it. Again, we talked about our athletics people kind of tweeting out sports as well. So there's plenty of reasons to use Twitter and how we use it here. You talked before about creating an account if you wanted to. Basically, this is the main page when you go to Twitter. You basically go in and it says here, new to Twitter. You put your full name in, an email, and a password, then you sign up. And it's that simple. It's gonna walk you through directions on how to do it. They'll tell you people to follow, all that stuff. And they kind
And
of
that's one of the things that. Oh,
go ahead.
sorry, Bill.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's one of the things that they ask you once right when you sign up is you have to choose people to follow, and that's fairly simple. You can follow. On this in this presentation we've put in some people to follow, but you can also go to the main page of the Wamogo site and start to look through some of those tweets. And following someone would just be you can probably find them just by searching their name, but you may be able to put in what's called their handle, and that's the part that has like an at symbol, and whatever name they have is their handle. Usually, like Bill's is yours is at W Principal, right?
I'm at W Principal. Yes.
Yeah.
So that
So
is
that
that's your identifier.
It is. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how you know who the message comes from. And we have pictures like little avatars next to our tweets so that you start to get used to seeing the same, you know who they're from almost immediately. Besides just looking at the name, you start to recognize the people in your Twitter feed, which is what that's called. If they come over your phone or your on your computer all day, really, you get these. You can check it at any time of the day, and it's pretty much up to the second on what's happening. Um, so it's been a really great way for us to communicate with each other and see what we're doing in the building because obviously we cannot be in each other's classrooms. So it's been a really made a positive impact, I think, on our community in that way because we can talk to each other about what we've been doing by maybe checking on our tweets at lunchtime and saying, oh, that's really neat. Someone did this cool project and following up with that person later about it.
So
So yeah, go ahead.
does it have an educational bent to it necessarily or not per se? Obviously, in your case, it does. Is that?
It really does. I mean, Abby talked about the hashtag EdChat. There is it's such a plethora of topics that get discussed on EdChat that are totally educational spin to it. There's actually a hashtag called PT Chat, which is parent chat, that's also solely focused on education and solely focused specifically for parents.
And I think that educators have embraced Twitter more than maybe some other vocations because it has allowed people to get connected in a way that is not really possible. I mean, it's starting to be. There are other ways of doing it through Google and things like that, but Twitter is really quick. It's a quick way to connect to people and to find people. So you may send a message out in Twitter, have a question about anything really in education, and someone will answer you back, and maybe you start a conversation with that person. So it builds your personal learning network, and I think it's been a great benefit to all of our professional development because we're speaking to educators all over Connecticut, certainly, but New England, all over the country. We had a person from Australia this summer. We had professional development at our school, and on Tuesdays in July, they're called Ed Camps. So by following our hashtag was EdCampRSD6, and I'm not really sure how she ended up finding us, other than she probably follows someone else who maybe was following us.
Mm-hmm.
She was from Australia, and she would check in to see like what the topics were for the day at our Ed Camp at Wamogo, and I thought that was really interesting because here we are connected to a person as an educator really far away that is recognizing that we're doing things at our school, and she wouldn't have any idea we were doing that if it wasn't for us tweeting out what we were doing every Tuesday. So I thought that was a really kind of a cool connection.
Yeah, that is neat.
And it's very, very simple to sign up. But let's go on. Now, if you want our new website, have you been on our new website?
I have been on your new website. I haven't gotten very good at navigating it, but I'm trying.
It's okay. It's a little different. Once you get used to something, you try something different.
It's hard. You know how that is.
Absolutely. But if you want to follow our tweets during the day, you'll notice that they're in the upper, I guess it would be left-hand column of the website. I'm kind of circling it now. Abby's put an arrow here to identify where it is. But that's where you can find tweets throughout the day. And all you have to do is scroll down, and you'll see all the tweets. You can keep going, as far back as you want to go, but you can certainly navigate through kind of the highlights of the day. I know, for example, I had a really very long meetings today, so I was not in very many classrooms, but the teachers were tweeting to Wamogo RHS, which is the other Twitter handle I have, and I was putting them up on the on Twitter, which is great because they're kind of they want to share what's going on in their room too, and it's really changed the practice on some level to kind of be visible about what we're doing in our classrooms. But let me move on. Some Twitter accounts to follow if you want to. I mean, you could write these down or not. Wamogo RHS is the home feed for Wamogo. Ed Drapp is our superintendent. I'm at W Principal. Jody is at AskPrinWham. At Wamogo Athletics is our athletics page. At Good Eats is the nutrition services, and I don't know why Abby didn't put herself on this. Abbe Waldron is Abby.
I think it's on the front. Yeah, it's on the front page.
Yeah.
But just by going in to your feed on the main page, you can follow people. So what we do a lot of times is you look at Twitter, and if you click on their picture, a window comes up and a blue button will come up that says follow. And it's that easy. You can click it. I look on Twitter every night and maybe pick a couple of other people to follow that have interesting things to say, or people who are sharing really cool ideas. I'll follow them. So it's a very easy process to pick up and follow people.
Hey,
And then you'll find that people follow you too.
Lucy, would you like me to create an account for you right now?
Well, not necessarily. It's not.
Okay.
It's not that it's too hard to create. I guess my I don't want to say call it a problem, but my issue is that we have so many different medias. I mean, there's Facebook and there's email and there's Twitter. It's like I don't even. I mean, I don't have a smartphone. I work at a computer all day, but I don't have time to get interrupted, multiple times all day long. And so I don't quite see how, because we've created. And I got an invitation to join somebody's Twitter, and I'm like, I don't even have time to
Sure.
be bothered by the interruptions of a tweet when I'm trying to get my stuff, when I'm trying to get my work done. I guess I feel like there's so many different kinds of, like even trying to figure out, like, when there's the athletics is a great one because you can find out whether a game's been changed or not. But are you supposed to look at Facebook? Are you supposed to look at email? Are you supposed to look at the website? Or are you supposed to look at the tweet? There's so many different, which is great, but it's also overwhelming in some
It
ways. Do you
is.
understand what I'm?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
And I think it can be. And sometimes I think I look to the kids more than anybody else for the direction and all that stuff. And Abby can correct me if she thinks differently. I think all of it's somewhat important, but I think if you ask the kids, email is probably almost dead for them. They
Oh,
don't,
it's totally, that's a real problem
yeah,
because, yeah, they don't look at their email.
you know,
No.
and they're looking for that instant gratification on some level. So Twitter is a big thing. Some people still like Facebook. Professionally, I don't like Facebook. I think I like Twitter because ultimately it's only public, and there's just too much that I don't know. I really just don't like Facebook very
So
much.
is there more, so there's less vulnerability in Twitter as opposed to Facebook?
Well, I feel that way as an educator more because let's say you're out with your friends somewhere, somebody's posting pictures. I guess they could, but I just don't have an account. They can't really do that to my Twitter or tweet, tweet it to me or whatever. They could, but it's only professional. That's the only thing I have. So I'm not into any social medias on a personal level. you know. So I try and do all of this only, I guess, strictly professional. Abby, I don't know if do you have a Facebook account?
No, I don't. I only use Twitter for, again, like you said, for professional reasons. And I think what's been good about that, and a lot of our staff had made accounts that are just for their school accounts, is that our kids kind of see that, and it's kind of a models the appropriate behavior online. And I think that we can't have enough of that. So
No,
we're
no,
even seeing
I agree completely, yeah.
we're seeing kids that are tweeting to the school, or they're tweeting about something positive that happened, or they're tweeting to share, like, don't forget to um, get your yearbook, those kind of things. And that's really great. And that's kind of has built that kind of community with the kids too. So they get that. They're seeing the adults do it. They're doing it. And that's kind of what we hope for too, is that we can find some medium. For teachers, it's like we found a place where we can communicate what we need to communicate to the kids and share positive things that are happening in our school. And that's really been a great thing. And I agree with you. It's hard to know where to look. In our case, I think we try to put everything. I don't think anything's exclusively on Twitter. These are things that
Oh, no, yeah, I agree.
it's kind of a real time thing, and certainly you could look on the Wamogo webpage where that feed is, where Bill pointed out, and you can kind of scroll through that and see what happened in the day too, and see what kind of neat things happen. And that's kind of combines both. And I think the website is the place probably where most of the information is. We're still using e-blasts. We're trying to reach in any different way we can do it. Phone calls, what are those called, Bill? The
Alert
phone calls you
messages
Right,
now. Yeah.
alert now, yeah, that like
right,
that.
right.
So
Instant
I,
messages.
I think that it goes without saying that we understand that people are needing a variety of ways to get the information. So by no means is Twitter the only way to get the information about what's going on at school. It's just another way to do it.
It's
And it's
certainly.
a way, it's
I'm
where the kids are too. So that's been a nice way for people to be able to communicate things. And kids retweet things, or their favorite tweets that that maybe they appeared in, which is kind of
it's
neat.
Yeah, it's certainly not an exclusive environment, and I do. I mean, we've heard this from parents last year, and that's actually partly why we have teachers recreating their websites to try and make them a little bit easier to follow without strictly sanitizing everything. Because one parent said, it's just not easy to find stuff sometimes looking at websites. It's great that you guys are doing it, but it's not uniform enough. So we're trying to make it a little more uniform without enforcing rules and different things on everyone. Um, but you're right. I think that's a fair question, and there's an education piece, and it's part of why we do these, is to we're trying to get information from parents, solicit that information on how we could help, and we're also trying to give out information to say, hey, this is what we're doing. We want you to be part of the uh, learning environment with us.
No, that's great. I think I'm not critical of it.
I know. I know.
A little overwhelming.
Well, you know what? We can check out if you'd like. We'll check out my Twitter feed and the stuff you can kind of see here.
Okay, that'd be great.
This is right now some of the things that I follow here that people are tweeting. Okay, so this is Education Week, asking proposals for vendors to develop ambitious raise technology services. You'll see different articles that people will look for. I'm looking here. Abby, stop me if you see something cool that we could open up and talk.
Yeah, and you can see if you look on the right-hand side where it says 2M9, you can see it's like, I think that's just the most recent is the top. So I'm saying at the very top of that Ed Week, it gives out like, I think it's a minute.
Yep.
So that was a minute ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
a minute ago that was sent. Someone sent that a minute ago.
Yeah.
And which is kind of, and so when we're looking at things like, we've had kids, like a nice feature of this is that our teachers in Region 6, it's just not Wamogo, it's most of the teachers, I would say, or staff members in Region 6 have accounts. We had a field trip last year, was it a little bit before, a little year before, where a classroom at the elementary school was following the field trip. So the teacher at one point of the day put the Twitter feed on the board to follow what the high school kids were doing on their field trip. So it was kind of, it went together with what her lesson was, and the kids got to be a part of the field trip just by following the tweets of the high school students. Again, it's a great way for our kids to model good online behavior. And it changes. It's the other thing. It does change constantly, and we see our kids looking at their phones constantly because now every social network has this feature where it refreshes every
I'll click on this
second,
tweets
much.
and pop up. And you'll see here 2 more tweets. Here's Cheryl Martinelli, a teacher at Goshen. Awesome field hockey athletes at practice, and you'll see a picture. So as a parent, they get to see, their kids in action.
Neat. Yeah, that's good.
Pretty neat.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good things. It does change, and certainly it's not something that we can check all the time either. It could be disruptive if it's something that you have to check all the time, like you're saying, at work. It's hard to look at it. It's one of those things once you get used to having it, you do check on it when you can to see what's going on, and that's why just following even a hashtag, it helps because it sorts it out a little bit for you. So that sometimes I just want to look at RSD6 things. I don't really want to look at anything else. I want to see what's going on in our district.
So you can sort of sort what
you can sort, and that helps a lot. Yeah, and there's another program called Hootsuite. Oh, Bill's going to show you.
For now, just for kicks. You want me to?
Yeah, just show her what that. I think it's a relief, Hootsuite. And when you think about Twitter, is kind of overwhelming because how long can you scroll down and read messages? But what Hootsuite does.
Now this is going to look overwhelming, but it's really.
You can just look at the columns. You can create your own columns. So the home feed column on the far left is every single thing that's happening and that you follow. And then as you go to the right, well, you can put it in any order you want, but it becomes more specific. So you can see that Bill has an Ed Drafts category. So anything that Ed sends out goes in that. So that's great because then you can look for just Ed's tweets.
And it's smart because, again, I'm no dummy. My boss is tweeting something, I want to know it. So I kind of separate the hashtags to see that.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that
can sort of prioritize which ones that you need to look at certain times.
Exactly.
You can't read them all. Yeah, you can't read them all. So that's really helpful too. And I think the idea, if you've been having these, as overwhelming as it is just that we want parents to know what this is as they hear about Twitter or they hear about blogs or all the topics that we speak about in these webinars is just to clarify, really, and so people can ask questions whether or not you have an account. I think it's great to have an account, but if you don't, it's okay too. The idea is that more people know or understand what we are trying to do.
Well, to have an understanding of what it is and how it's utilized, yeah.
Exactly, because sometimes things like Twitter, Twitter's all over the news. It's for good, bad, and it's just like any other tool we use. There's things that people use it for not so great reasons too, but I think that we're using it for professional development and for positive kind of cultural reasons at our school, and I think that that needs to be known as well. So it's not as though all social networking is bad.
Yep. You'll notice here my second tweet down that just came in. It's from Mr. Hollist, and he just put out a homework assignment for his class, for his world history class, Ancient Egypt Review on his Kia page. So he kind of is sending that out to his students for them to go to Kia and follow it.
Okay, so he's all right, I remember him from, well, as the athletic director, he used
Yeah.
Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
So, and again, I also have the Wamogo RHS page here, and there's a whole bunch of tweets here from different people. Here's Region 6 Music, which is the elementary school band teacher down there. And you see all teachers from all over the district that are tweeting different topics. That's another way just to kind of organize things. But certainly this is the main Twitter page.
Yeah, okay.
If we go back, let me run the presentation again. Seems to be frozen on the page.
Button at the top, though.
What's that?
There's a present button at the
Yeah,
top.
I'm hitting it. It's left frozen on the page.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. You know what I'll do? I'll hop into it again.
Yeah.
That way we can see it.
There we go.
Okay. Let's go back to this. So we kind of went through and checked out the Twitter feed. And Abby, you want to talk briefly about some of the other social media?
Yeah, we just wanted to, since we said this was about social networking, I thought we should include a couple other tools that people use in their classes. And one is Remind 101. And what that does is teachers can safely text students and their families. So what students do is they enroll and in the class with their cell phone number, and the teacher sends like one text, and what the software does, so no one has to give their phone number out. They enroll themselves, and the teacher can send a mass text. So we found that teachers are liking this for reminders and homework, if they need to bring something in. This is a really simple way to do that and to communicate. Again, our kids have mobile devices, so any way that we can reach them.
So you get invited to join then, basically.
Yeah, there's a class that's created,
Okay.
and the students enroll, and then the teacher is able to communicate with them in one other way. So this is just another way for students and parents, and it depends on the teacher. Not all teachers are using it, but some are using this as another way to communicate what's going on in their class, as well as Edmodo, which many of the teachers are using Edmodo, which is kind of another blogging platform where teachers can post homework. They can, it looks a little bit like Facebook, so kids tend to like it and maneuver around it even better than adults, really. But they can post homework. They can upload documents that kids can go get. It's almost like it's another website platform that also includes a kind of a blogging feature where a student and two students can speak to each other online about their assignment. A teacher can send out a message to the students. So some teachers are using that, and that has a parent portal as well. So if a classroom is using that, there's also a parent login that goes along, so a parent can log in and see what their child is doing in that class. They get access to their child's page, so they can check on what's due or if they've completed something. So that's a very school-based program. And then Blogger is just one of the platforms that classes use for blogs. So, and depending on what class they're in, students create blogs where they respond either to reading, they're learning how to write for an audience. The idea being that when they do create something, that it's not just for them, or it's just not for just for school. It could be for other people to see. And so teachers have found that sometimes a great motivator for making sure that their writing is improved, that it's correct, and it also allows them to get some feedback about what they've written in a blog, because other students can comment on their work, and the teacher can see it. It's all online, so it's something that's accessible to other people as well. So those are just a few of the other tools that teachers are using in their classrooms, and certainly this year we'll go into some other topics as well about what we're doing at our school. And I was even thinking in this conversation, just reviewing our new website is a good topic too.
Yeah. Now, Lucy,
So,
I would also,
are you there?
yeah, I was wondering. I would also say that you bring up a good point about you do kind of have to be social media conscious as a parent because there's definitely a lot of platforms that are out there and available, and your kids may be on, even not through school. And it's important just to be aware of what they are to be able to kind of know what your kids are doing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's our job as a parent to try to keep up with what they're up to. But also, I mean, I guess it's important to, if this is a medium that's being used, and I mean, I don't believe that my daughter's necessarily using the Twitter, but maybe she should be. If that's what teachers are using and that's how that maybe it's something that she needs to be a little more curious about and explore possibly if it's being used so prevalently, particularly amongst the school community.
At
I
the
guess I can.
at the very least, it will benefit her socially from a sense of what's going on at school and in different avenues. And some of the classes are using it. Obviously, as you just saw, Mr. Hollis posting things as well.
Right. Yeah.
Lucy, if I could ask, what do you think would be a big draw for parents? We're trying to reach out, as you know, and we generally we've been getting about 5 to these. But what would be the draw to really kind of hook people in? Do you think?
To being more involved, or just being more, or a topic?
It's just something that people would come to these webinars to really hook into and really want to know about, I guess. You know what I mean? We're trying to reach out in a lot of different venues. We have parent coffees, all these other things that you come to. But
I know, yeah, but there's very few of us that are being involved.
I
Right.
know.
I'm not even terribly involved at all,
No,
actually.
I guess that's my point. I guess is there something we're not doing that we could be doing?
Well, I can't say that I have anything in mind particularly that you aren't. I don't know why more people. I'm surprised, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
because when you have a conversation with somebody, they say, "Oh, that's great. I don't know anything about Twitter," or "That's great. I need to do that." But as you know, how do you actually make them? How do you make them do it?
Well, you know what's weird? It may be intimidating too. Like I've thought about that. Like maybe if people feel shy or reticent. We had a couple of parents last year who I know one who's on all the time now, and I know she was very shy, kind of signing up and all that. And maybe that's it. Maybe people feel uncomfortable. I'm not real sure. What do you think, Ab?
That may be it. And you and I were talking before we started tonight about possibly having a step-by-step process and even how to become part of this, like how to get onto GoToMeeting if that was a concern, if people were, yeah, intimidated by like what happens if I don't know how to get on or I get stuck halfway in between or, you know, the process of even getting to this meeting. But that I wondering if creating some kind of video to show people what the process looks like, if that might help some people say, oh, that's really pretty easy,
Yeah.
like, or creating a list of tools, like, what do you need to do this? Like, so could I do this on an iPad? Could I do this on my phone? Could I do this on a desktop? I think sometimes it might be that feeling of I'm not sure I can get on there effectively and quickly. I do think it's really simple, but it may be
Oh,
something.
it couldn't be. Let me tell you, if I can do it, it couldn't be more simple.
That's why I like this program though, because it really is, the whole point is
I
that
mean,
it's
it did
easy.
it for me. I was like, okay, what was that number I was supposed to write down? I'm like, I didn't even have to write it down. It came up automatically, and
Perfect.
it just did it. It was there.
No.
In fact, I didn't
It,
even know how to turn on the speaker quick enough. It came up so quickly. So
and maybe
it
that,
couldn't be more simple.
yeah,
That's for sure. But I don't.
And last year we reached out a little bit from guidance. We'll probably do more of that with guidance this year, or maybe that'd be a way to kind of get parents involved or something too. Maybe even if we did a
Power School.
for college purposes where people should be, something like that.
Because that's where I am in my stage, I'd have to say yes. That would be great. I think, yeah. I mean, I think the whole guidance thing is an overwhelming. I'm sure it's overwhelming for them. It seems overwhelming as a parent. Where should we be? What we should be doing?
Yeah.
And what are the? Yeah. I don't know whether other people feel the way I do, but it's overwhelming. But I'm because that's the stage that my particular child is in right now.
Sure.
It's certainly a priority to me. But I also feel, having already being almost at the end of that stage, I still feel like it could have started earlier. That
No, I hear you.
I read an email. I read something from Guidance yesterday. I don't know whether it was written by Guidance or it was forwarded by Guidance, and it was talking about all the things you should have done this summer. Well, I think I should have gotten a message at the beginning of the summer, not now.
Sure. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, something
Okay.
through Guidance, I think about Guidance or about the process, I think would be great.
All right, that's great idea. So, well, I hope you found today helpful, and I hope you come back again, and that you weren't, the only one. It doesn't intimidate you, and we'll get more. I promise.
Well, I'm sorry I'm the only one. I feel bad for you guys, but I certainly appreciate your time and effort, and particularly since you've already done this with me once, and I act like I've never heard it before. So
No, it's all good.
No,
I hope you don't take it out against me.
No,
thank you so much for
thank you
coming.
for joining us.
Well, thank you for putting it on. Appreciate it.
Great.
All right, well, take care. Okay.
Thank you. Yep. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Abby.
Are you there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Lucy's gone.
Is it?
Lucy,
I can't
you there?
tell. Not yet.
Yes, I do. No, I want to be.
I saw you.
See, I can't get out of here. I don't know how to even X
If
out.
you hit the X maybe in the top corner,
I'm looking for an X.
a red X at the very top of the control panel.
Huh.
You have a go to meeting thing popped up?
I don't see, but I could just I'll just turn it off.
Okay. Bye.
I will try to get out of here. Leave meeting. Okay, there we go.
Abby, I'm gonna call you. Let me see.
Okay.
I want to see if I'll call you. Bye.
All right. Bye.